dance-offs, keggers, and somebody be cheating up in Riverdale. Oh, girl, you know we're getting into it. This is your Riverdale recap here on Screen Junkies News. Truth be told, I just really wanted to let that video go for a really long time.
For the entire time. That dancing was amazing.
The dance-off was...
Let's talk about the dance-off.
Oh, let's start with the dance-off. Roth, you made a very astute observation. Would you like to share with the people what you mentioned to me?
They were cutting away a lot when Cheryl was... If you guys go back and you watch the dance-off, you have wide shots when Veronica is dancing and you can see her moves. And then they cut away to close-ups the entire time that Cheryl is dancing, which leads me to... That's an amazing frame.
Thank you.
That is an amazing frame.
When Mitch pulled that, I was like, best still ever. Oh, that dance-off...
So I think maybe she can't dance.
I think maybe neither of them can really dance that well. And hilariously, Lily Reinhardt, who plays Alice, was like, thanks so much to the Riverdale writers for not making me dance during that. That whole dance-off was hilarious.
I thought Veronica was doing a great job. She's
I felt like a dance mom. I was like, smile, smile. I really wanted her to like put on the show a little bit. There was so much going on in last night's episode.
You audibly said that.
I probably did. I probably yelled at the screen. I yelled at the screen a lot last night because, oh man. All right.
So much. First of all, this was an awesome episode.
This was an excellent episode. The Lost Weekend, episode 10, truly like we are really ramping up. And last week I said, where's Chuck? And this week we got Chuck, the return of Chuck Clayton, who apparently was not expelled, simply suspended from Riverdale High School, which is really, really uncool. But he and Ethel, I totally think are in cahoots. We see them in the cafeteria talking because he's apologizing.
And then she dismisses Betty when Betty comes over. And first of all, so much to get into there. But when Betty comes over to try and defend her, she dismisses her out of hand, which I also thought was pretty suspicious.
Very suspect. Out of hand also is Betty's rage issues.
Oh, yeah.
As she's standing there in the cafeteria talking to Ethel and Chuck, you see her sort of wrap her fists up and start digging her nails into her own hands. And then when she releases, there are claw marks in her hand.
Well, this whole episode is about the inner darkness, and she even overtly says it. And Betty, I think, of all the characters, they were playing so well with the characters in terms of what they represented in the comics, because Betty so was that character that was completely repressed, that was always the nice girl, that always sort of took it on the chin and was the bigger person about things. And of course, in reality, that would eat you up. And then Jughead has this whole inner turmoil about them not being right for each other and connected because he's such a weirdo in his mind. Oh, we love you, Jughead.
Jughead. This episode, so this whole episode is about Betty wanting to throw a birthday party for Jughead and make it special. And he hates his birthday.
Yeah.
And then he has this monologue of despair about how she's the girl next door. And Betty's like, I hate that word.
Yes.
And how they don't really belong together and how he's a weirdo and he should always be the like standalone loner. And it really does speak to the expectations that the comics set up. But it also was such a moment where you're like, this is why I love this character.
Yeah.
And the way Cole Sprouse is playing him so much, because we all feel that way.
Everybody feels that way. And I think that the reason that this show is really nailing it, because not only is it the idea of the dark underbelly of Riverdale, of the Archie comic characters, but when you're in high school, people are kind of categorized that way. You find yourself being put into a corner, and everyone you know is. You are given an identity, whether you wanted it or not, and that's your identity. And everyone feels just as lonely and just as isolated and just as weird. And so I think what she's trying to say to him is, whatever the appearances are, we are more alike than you imagine.
Absolutely.
And don't blow it, Jughead. You guys have a good thing going.
Bughead needs
Bughead.
to, well, but there is going to be major turmoil. You know why? Because Veronica showed up with a scone of remorse. She totally made out with Archie multiple times, spent the night.
Yeah.
She spent the night. And they made it look like it was Chase, like Archie's on the floor and she just leans down and kisses him goodbye. But that makes it worse. Because honestly, if they had hooked up and then Archie could have been weird and then not texted and still had like the whatever's going on with him and Val, but instead they spent the night, they didn't do it. That means it's love, girl.
It is totally love. And this
Very
is when we start setting up that three-way in a slightly different way than we got it. Not three-way, but the three-way, the love triangle. Just stop it. Love triangle relationship that we get in the comics. But the thing is with this is that I like that they're doing it in a slightly different way, because I think that what Betty's going to be upset about, of course, she probably still has feelings for Archie, but she's going to be torn because she's in a relationship with Jughead. So if she's jealous, that's pretty damaging to her relationship with Jughead. But I think that what she'll say she's pissed about, and rightfully so, is you lied to me.
Deception.
You brought me that scone of remorse. By the way, hashtag, yes.
Hashtag scone of guilt. Scone of remorse?
Scone of remorse.
Hashtag scone of remorse.
Yes. Hashtag scone of remorse. And Betty even is like, wait a minute, the last time you brought me pastries, that's because you had kissed Archie.
You dirty.
And she didn't own up to it. She had the perfect opportunity.
And she could have just
said, you know what?
And then she could have played but you can't really be mad because
you've got
a way better.
And stop it.
But then, honestly, of all the moments where I was like, in last night's episode, there were a lot.
Yes.
A lot. When Jughead was giving that beautiful monologue, he basically called her out for saying, like, what, you're just hanging out with me until Archie changes his mind and goes to be with you. And I straight up, my heart for both of them hit the floor.
I know, because he has that suspicion, and it's true. She probably, in the back of her mind, is sort of waiting for that moment for Archie to see the light.
Oh, totally.
And he will. At a certain point in the series, he's already feeling jealous. He's doing the whole thing. He's trying to have it all. He's a kid.
He's so waffly.
I don't know. I think he's just like, I think he honestly is confused. He had this relationship with his teacher that had to have messed him up a little bit.
And then he had this whole moment with Val, the Val situation.
And he's having a panic attack.
Well, he's drunk. And we're going to get to that in a second. But the Val moment where he's like staring at her longingly in the cafeteria. And then she comes to this kegger. So so there's a birthday party there's the lonely stairs in the cafeteria. And I love that extra off to the left who is just doing so much extra. And then at the party where it's just supposed to be the inner circle, it was just supposed to be Jughead, Betty, Veronica, Archie, Kevin, and Kevin's boyfriend, Joaquin.
Who Joaquin is clearly falling for Kevin.
Oh, clearly. And can I just say,
as predicted,
big ups Riverdale for having a homosexual kiss and not making a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
It's just two dudes making out because that's what you do when you're in a relationship, and you wouldn't make a big deal out of it if it was a heterosexual couple. Yeah. I loved that moment, and I love that they're actually giving Kevin a lot more to do, because I've been getting a little bit frustrated that he was just the token gay, and now like they're stepping him up. But
I am worried about when he finds out how badly he's been betrayed, though. I'm worried about Kevin.
Well, we'll get there. But so the party gets crashed because Cheryl and Chuck are like, oh, we're getting back at you.
Yeah.
We're getting back at Veronica for stealing my place on the dance squad, because obviously I should be the HBIC, and Chuck is getting back at them for getting him suspended. I don't think Chuck's done. Chuck can't be done with just crashing their party.
Well, not only that, not only do I not think he's done yet, but I don't think that that's all there is to the story. When he's like, I know the real Betty, there's some dark business going on.
They kept going Dark Betty.
And then he was like, Dark Betty. I like it. Betty. It's like Dark Sansa. And then he's all like, he basically was like, and I kind of find it hot, but I'm definitely going to still screw you up about it, you know? But this is the thing. When Betty goes to that dark place, something happened. And this is what brings me into Suspect Betty, where something happens to her, something disconnects and dissociates almost with her. Like, I don't know that she doesn't remember it, but I do think that she's going to kind of an out-of-body place. And when she said to Chuck, what you did to me, we all assumed she was sort of like channeling Polly.
Yeah.
What if Jason literally did something to Betty? Who better to get in that burn book than the nice girl next door that ain't having it with anybody?
Oh my God.
What if Jason did something to Betty and Betty shot Jason? Revenge. Boom.
Whoa! That's what you're thinking.
That's what I'm thinking.
So episode
but it can't be one of them that did the murder.
I know, see, that's the thing. See, episode 1, I texted a friend of mine, and I was like, I hope Betty did it. And they were like, And that's why Polly has always seemed more likely to me, because I think that it is a familial trait.
Yeah.
It is definitely a Cooper thing where they can just lose their stuff at any minute.
Yeah.
But I think that is fascinating that she could have been complicit in some way that we will find out later on.
Or that Polly had an extra motive even, that maybe that we're being led down a path to suspect Betty, but that was actually just an extra motive for Polly because she was so damaged by whatever happened with Jason. I don't know what it was, but something happened to mess that girl up. And she does go to a very dark place and she does go to a very weird place. She's super repressed, so we get that it's got to come out somehow, but it can't have been. It's weird. I'm wrestling with myself. I'm like, it's cool, but she can't have actually killed Jason because she's going to stay on the show.
She's going to stay on the show. But how much did I love the moment where she showed her scars to Jughead? Yeah. And he took her hands and kissed them and falls
because that's what I'm saying. They accept each other for who they are.
They are. I love Bughead so much. I need them to be okay. I need them to stay together.
Team Bughead 100%.
But there's
and
going to be...
I'm liking the vibe with Archie and Veronica.
I love the vibe with Archie and Veronica.
Yeah.
Even when they're like throwing beer at each other at the kegger, Archie and Val make no sense to me. They never have. I just think they have zero chemistry together. Archie and Veronica is going to set up the dynamic that we've come to expect from the comics.
Yeah.
That's something that I think we've all kind of been waiting for, and they do have really good chemistry together.
They do, yeah.
Surprising chemistry showed up on screen last night, too, between Skeet Ulrich and the woman whose name you helped me learn to pronounce, Megan Amick. She's a serpent? What?
Serpent doesn't lose their skin that easily.
Wait, but I do have to say that is not scientifically true. Don't serpents lose their skin once a year? Like that's part
they
of
actually
their thing?
do frequently lose their
but
skin.
whatever.
That's actually a thing that
but
they do.
But she comes from like the wrong side of the tracks and they know each other and she used to be a serpent?
Well, here's my thing. They obviously used to be banging. And here's the other thing. Clearly, they were together in high school.
Totes!
Right?
Totes!
And she said, I shared things with, you can't share all of yourself with Jughead because I shared things with your father and he used them against me. And there is some part of me like, is this whole relationship some crazy blackmail?
I think Polly might be Jughead's sister.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I think Jughead and Polly are half sisters because she would freak. Alice would freak if Betty were like FP's kid and like now Jughead and her were.
But Polly,
that is a possibility.
Yes.
And that is like, whoa, there is a past, there is a history for sure.
There was amazing chemistry, but they had clearly been banging at some point.
Oh my God, thinking about it, chills. All of the chills.
And now that she's broken up with Hal, where she may just go right back to that, right?
And
right back to her roots.
Into it, although it's weird, although it goes to the Blossoms. And thank you finally for during that terrible game, Secrets and Sins, which is a really bad game. Like it's not even truth or dare. Like you don't even have an option. Roth, secret or sin?
Hey, I would rather do a dare.
Yeah.
Game doesn't work.
It's a game.
Broken game.
But during that stupid game, at least people were calling out the fact that the Blossoms loved each other way too much.
Twincest.
Twincest.
Hashtag twincest?
Hashtag twincest. Hashtag scone of remorse.
Yes.
Hashtag, oh my God.
Maple syrup land grab. And this is why, because I think we're starting to get into the parents' history with each other. Now, Molly Ringwald, and let us all take a moment.
Oh my God.
Finally showed up for half a second.
I was pissed. She showed up literally. She walked in and they went, hello, honey. And that was it. I'm like, episode 10 told me Molly Ringwald was coming in episode 10.
They weren't totally lying. She did show up. But here's the thing is that we're getting this history on Alice, right? She wanted to leave the town. She's like, leave this town with me now. It's dangerous here. I don't like it. You need to leave with me.
Yeah.
What does she know? And what did she already know 2 years ago about this town that other people are just now finding out?
So two things. One, I love that in the show, she lives in Chicago.
Yeah.
Because John Hughes forever.
Yes.
We have an awesome fan who tweeted us a theory. And this had not, we've mentioned that we thought that maybe like there was a tie into the Blossoms with Molly Ringwald.
Yes.
Because why are there so many redheads running around this town? So Amelia at AVZA91, sorry girl, apologies, wrote, I think that the Blossoms aren't actually related to the true Blossom line for the company. And they ousted the true line, which could be Archie and his mom. And that Hiram Lodge knew about it, and that's why they paid him.
Ooh, Ooh, I like that theory.
That is, so I don't know about the Hiram part because Hiram was being, the payments that we found out about, Veronica found out a lot of stuff about her family this episode. Those payments went back like 75 years. But I do like the theory that something else happened and that Archie and his mom are really the true people who deserve.
True heirs.
Hashtag.
To that. Ooh.
That maple syrup land grab. It might be Archie and Fred's and Molly Ringwald's all along.
Oh, I love that theory.
That is a great theory.
That is an awesome theory. Because the whole thing, this whole season is about these kids, paying for the sins of their parents, but also perpetuating them, you know? And they're, and then Polly, we think, trying to undo the whole thing and being like, we are tired of you pooping on the little people with your maple syrup poop.
So we got a preview for next week, and one of the sweet poop. There was a brief mention of the Blossoms, Mr. Blossom and his creepy wigs, and then we actually got a look into his wig room
with all the redheaded wigs.
With all the redheaded wigs from next week. Why do you need wigs?
Why do you need wigs?
If you are a redhead.
Exactly. You're not a redhead, but you know who is? Molly Ringwald's a redhead.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that there is a real possibility here. And also the fact that Fred decided to go sign the papers. Also, how great is Archie for drunk dialing his dad?
Also, but how are the Blossoms, the parents? Like, I feel like there's a lot of, if not twincest, there is certainly, I want to talk about the drunk dialing, but there's certainly like, y'all are kind of like getting a little like medieval kings here, because I feel like, are you distant cousins?
Oh, girl.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Are you
yeah.
kind of trying to keep it in the family that much? It's getting a little weird. And then they also want her to hook up with Archie. They're encouraging her to hook up with Archie.
Oh my God!
Right?
I totally forgot about that.
Yes.
Oh my God!
Oh, yeah.
Archie is the heir.
He is the heir
Holy
to the maple syrup landmass.
Land mass grab. Holy F-bomb, you guys. Archie is the heir.
He is the heir.
That's also why creepy Mrs. Blossom is like, looks so much like, oh my God.
Weird.
Did we just solve a giant piece of this puzzle live on the show?
I feel like we did.
Oh my God,
yes.
Rock and Amelia, this is crazy.
Yeah. But you know who the king of our hearts is still Jughead.
Jughead's the best.
But there's this uprising too in the town of people being like, I am tired, including Archie. He said this. I am tired of being the pawns of this one family.
Yeah. Wait, what do we think
people.
was in the present that FP brought? Because I don't trust that Skeet Ulrich shows up at the kegger, doesn't kick any of the kids out, watches as Jughead has a fight with Chuck Clayton, and like has this very large wrapped box.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably some kind of, well, he's already spying, right?
Yeah.
So what if it's some kind of like, is he bugging the place? Is he trying to keep an eye on things? I'm not sure, because he's already concerned that the kids are figuring things out faster than the police are, which, by the way, is cause for concern.
Yeah.
Like, these teenagers are getting it.
Yeah, but it's a very Seven moment of what's in the box.
Yeah, but he realizes that people are putting together the connections between Hiram and the serpents, right? And that is not something that he wants. So he's trying to keep an eye on all of it.
Yeah.
And he's, look, I think he does love Jughead, but he is clearly a very messed up father.
Totally. I mean,
he clearly is out to get Archie the Andrews because he feels betrayed.
He does. I know. Oh, man. Well, I mean, like the nice dad gift is he opens it and it's like reels of footage of them like when he's a kid. Mean dad present is it's part of the evidence that they're trying to plant for Jason's murder.
Yes.
Or it's a gun and they're trying to like make him complicit in some sense.
But he would not be, I don't think he would be trying to... I don't think he'd be trying to frame Jughead. I think he would be trying to frame Archie's dad.
Well, but whose house are you in?
Yeah.
So it's easy to plant evidence and be like, oh, well, this thing just happened to be here. I hid it. There was also a big moment with Veronica, her mother, and getting a letter from her dad that basically said, your mother is not as innocent as you think. Mm-hmm. So Hermione and Hiram, the plot thickens.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Well, I mean, I think that was really just, I do think that, and I think that's why she asked Smithers, because, I think that her mother's not innocent of all of this. She clearly is complicit. She understands what's going on. But Hiram is the bad guy, you know, and he was threatening his daughter. And then he was like, if you don't do what I want, I'm going to cause you a lot of pain. And then when you do what I want, I'm going to give you pearls.
Oh,
it's horrible.
Those pearls, throw those in a river.
I see Veronica spiraling next season.
Oh,
I totally see her spiraling.
Sure, and I can't wait for it. Will she break Archie's heart? Will that be part of the spiral? Will they be together by the end of season 1 and season 2 when she goes bad girl Veronica? Is that part of it?
And that might be the moment that he then seeks comfort from Betty. And then that whole thing starts. That cycle starts.
God,
let's not get too much into that cycle, though.
I can't wait. But this episode was beautiful and wonderful. And Jughead, you are always in our hearts and at our bosoms. Yeah. Roth, this is the best.
We're almost over. It's so sad.
But I feel like that was like a giant puzzle piece.
Yeah.
And holy crap-amonis.
Yeah.
Love it.
Love it.
Oh,
what are your theories?
Riverdale. What are your theories? Did we crack a case? Have you cracked something at home? Please, please, please tweet at us, at Roth Cornett, at Sasha Pearl Raver. And of course, let us know in the comments below. You can tweet us at SJ News. Make sure to like and subscribe. Of course, you can always click here for more Screen Junkies news. Bughead forever.